welcome to the channel. My name is ZEC. Please like and subscribe to this video and be sure to hit that notification bell to not miss any of my future videos. And let's see if this video can get 15 likes.
Hi there, my name is ZEC.
Hello ZEC. Hello ZEC.
Hello Zeka. Hello Zeki.
Oh my goodness, look at my Bitcoin chart. Not to mention the ZCash chart. It's time to get into this video.
My name is ZEC. Just making a quick, fairly, not an emergency, but a fairly important video. It's 1:15 UTC time, and yeah, we're in the middle of the night, sort of late at night, early morning, and we did have, we're here on the ZCash chart, but let's go on to the Bitcoin chart to start with. So yeah, if you would, I should say, what are we on? Okay, we're on the 2-day. Let's look on let's start ourselves off on the daily. So here we are on the daily Bitcoin chart. Didn't go exactly as planned, but fairly much as we've been discussing. We had our our move down to 28,000 the other day. We talked about the possibility of the rally coming to a fizzling out somewhere in the region of this downward trending resistance that has been prior support, and I think we did look at the fib that it might have gone to. I think it did not quite get to this, maybe nearly got there, but I think it got to, yeah, I think it got to the 0.5 fib, and then, well, the thing is, that is also looking on the daily. We could probably, oops, you could probably put it on the 4-hour. Let's see. So I think that we could do it from here, and I think that is what I did. That's what I was looking at, and I was thinking, well, it would come somewhere. Yes, we saw the line dissected the 0.5 and the 618 fib. It actually only came to we only rallied to, well, pretty much exactly there on the second drive, and as I suggested was likely to happen, we've come back down to test this lower level now. So what's happened to the other support line there? Oh, I've deleted it by accident. Okay, so let's put that back. Horizontal line. We probably want it around about, well, let's put it there for the time being. I think we want it at 30, don't we? Where have we put it? Okay, so yeah, we certainly do seem to be coming for this test of this lower region, and I think if we look at pretty much there's every indication in the world that we are heading there. We're on the hourly here, so although we're getting a little bit of yeah, it's not looking great. It's not looking great on any of these. Really, looks like this is about to cross over to the downside probably, and here we are already pointing down on the MACD. This is on the 2-hour, on the 3-hour, already going south. 4-hour, we crossed the signal line, we're pointing down, and this goes on. I mean, we can go all the way just crossed and it's heading south again. And this is all to be read in conjunction with the Bollinger Band analysis as well. And we have here we are on the 5 hour. We have ricocheted from this 0.5 fib and this downward trending support. We've ricocheted and we have broken to the downside of this Bollinger moving 20 moving average. The 5 hour lower target of this Bollinger Band is sort of 30,800. Ties in fairly well with our idea of this test. I mean that's where that could be as low as it goes. That would make sense. I mean, you know, these lines are guides. It's by no means set in stone that we're going to retest 30,000 on the nose. The 6 hour it's giving us a slightly higher target, 30,900. 7 hour slightly lower, 30,300. We're going somewhere in this region, I think, and I don't think too much lower, because as we move further out, I think once we get to the kind of, well, the 12 hour, again 30,000. But I have a feeling the daily is stuck at the same kind of 30,000 spot. And what about the buy? I think the buy daily it gets a little bit less. Oh no, even on the buy daily. Well, in fact, on the 2 day we're at 30,850. So it does start to seem like, I think we're there. And I wonder if even on the weekly, I did have a look a minute ago. I can't quite remember. Yeah, see, even on the weekly, we're not. It's a bit of a busy chart there, but even there we are on the weekly. That is our lower target, the 29,000 area, and we're hitting it. I mean, you know, we can see that again on the weekly. We have ricocheted from this top end of the Bollinger Band. We've broken to the downside of this moving average, and we've been playing around the bottom, which you would expect us to do, and I think even if we go further out to this is the only thing. This doesn't look great. So the two weekly, we have broken on the 2 weekly. Well, wait, have we? No, we haven't. We still got. Well, there we have it. So we've got 8 days left. So I think if we close this 2 week candle in 8 days below sort of 35,000, then I think it will start to look at that point increasingly like we are going to move lower, because obviously, well, we will be trending in that direction on the 2 weekly even, and past beneath this, having broken, if this candle closes below 35,000. If it does close below 35,000, then it will have decisively broken this 20 moving average on the 2 weekly, the bi-weekly chart, and we've got to then sit up and take note. And I think at that point, a move down, well, to 5,000 maybe is where we're heading. I mean, maybe that's well. There we go. Let's buy it up at 5,000. But I think until that happens, I think it doesn't. The fact that we have even if we closed below it, but then immediately pushed back above with some sort of with some purpose, then I think that might negate it as well. And we can touch beneath the moving average and break back above it, and often will do. However, that's something to take note of. ZCash, if we here we are on the 5-hour ZCash chart. Now we at the moment are down at $100. It's a nice little buying opportunity if you. Yeah, I mean I wasn't certain, but I did have a feeling that ZCash might have held up a little bit better, purely on the basis that I think that we're looking here at this Wyckoff. Let's see on the daily. I think that I'm looking at this Wyckoff accumulation, and I'm seeing this is the spring. This is the test. I think yes, more sideways, more upwards, and certainly during maybe the rest of the summer even. This is the kind of boring kind of sideways action we're going to get, and I was kind of factoring in the idea that the Zcash market maybe would react a bit more positively to this notion of potential sideways Bitcoin action, and anticipate it by hovering a little higher, but actually it's just completely correlated. It's basically like watching the same chart. So that really they're just so correlated at this moment. And I think the only thing that we can say is that Zcash, if anything at this point, looks pretty likely to do its little trick that it does like to do of retracing its entire previous rally. And so I wouldn't now be surprised to be seeing the Zcash down at certainly $90 in the next few hours, or the next day, certainly over the weekend, potentially even down to 87, 86 again, as it does like to do that little 100% retrace, and we can just have a little look back and see exactly that. Well, here, so we did tip down to $87 here. And we spent however many weeks, well, this was the 23rd of May, and then here we are on the almost exactly a month later, the 22nd of June, so we had a month of messing around and retraced entirely to, a few days ago. So it won't entirely surprise any of you to see this happen again. It won't surprise me. And it happens on smaller time frames as well. I can't remember exactly any that happened recently, but there was another one, perhaps. I think it might be this one, and it was maybe on a 1 hour. We can see it better. I'm not sure. Maybe it was it there? I think it was that, yeah, there. Yeah, I remember trading this, and it was fun. Yeah, we were 100. That was right. I remember buying 119, and we did. I don't think I didn't sell at 100. I may have sold 140, something like that. And yeah, so 119, and I was pleased to see the signals in time, and then bought this back again here. So and that was again the one we can put the fib on it, and it was it does tend to, I suppose we're going sideways, aren't we? So that's that's what's happening. Sideways and downwards, we should say. Certainly we seem to be going sideways and downwards at the moment, and so anyhow, so we could see the same thing happening here. We can quite easily believe that at this juncture, if we look at there we are, down to the 86. Now, if we look at the reason I can quite easily believe this is because, well, again, on this chart, on the 1 hour, we have, well, we're kind of sideways and downwards. On the MACD, also the Bollinger Bands that we're just slip sliding down. And when we start moving out to the longer time, well, we're just gradually inching lower there. MACD pointing down. Lower lows on the RSI on the 3 hour. Again, we had a signal line crossing over here to the downside, and this is we need to look on some bigger time frames. 4 hour, still nothing there. 5 hour, I think the 5 hours, but yeah, so 5 hour starts giving us a sort of lower boundary of 95-ish. And again, well, to be fair, the MACD is looking, I think really it's crossed over and this is heading south. So to be honest, that's not good. 6 hour, it's no better, the same. Maybe this is I think the 7 hour might get a little, oh no, okay, so this is it. Maybe we're looking at 95. Maybe we shouldn't get, I just think when it maybe comes to it, 93 on the 8 hour. And what about, let's go up to the 12 hour. Well, yeah, so there we have it. 88 on the 12 hour, and what happens if we go up to even the 14? 87. Yeah, okay, so look, we're gonna, by the looks of it, our target probably on a 12 hour closing basis is likely to be something in the region of $87–88 again for ZCash, and Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin will. I'm not seeing anything on any of these bigger time frames. Even as we said, even if we went up to the weekly, and we're still sort of the lower range of this Bollinger Range is going to be 30,000-ish. So I think effectively this is, again, what I can say is that I am only seeing too many similarities and too many possibilities, too many indications that this is a Wyckoff accumulation, textbook Wyckoff accumulation. This is the test. We've had the spring, and after this point, I think the next big test will be, well, the first big, let's get this out of the way. Let's bounce at 30,000. Let's buy at 30 if we're into Bitcoin. Let's buy at 87 if we're into ZCash. And maybe, by the way, don't just buy at 87. Maybe do ladder in, buy a bit at each of these levels on the way down, because as we can see, depending on, if you're up watching it, maybe you'll see it below 100. If you're up watching it and you're awake, or depending on where you are in the world, then maybe you don't need to set too many orders and you can just wait and see. But it might be a good idea if you do have to go to bed to set a few different buy orders, ladder into a position. If you're confident that you're going to hold the line at 87, I myself am fairly confident that. Based more on Bitcoin than on ZCash, in fact, because actually the ZCash chart, when you look at the ZCash 2-day, is it the 2-day? No, I can't remember if it's the 2-day that looks bad. Not the 2-day. It's the weekly, is it? That's the one. Because I think the Bitcoin weekly looks pretty good still. But yeah, so the ZCash, we maybe do need to beware a little with ZCash, because we have broken decisively broken the moving average on the Bollinger weekly Bollinger bands on ZCash, and we are making headway in our stomp towards the lower end of that lower boundary of the band, and that is currently giving us a target of $60.92 to be precise. Let's stick a line on that, shall we? And think about that. So we don't really want to. Maybe I'll put a pink-red one. Yeah, there we go. I think I might even make that a little bit bigger, because I want to remember that. Well, this would be a wonderful opportunity to buy. I watched a fantastic video last night, which I think I've made available on my channel, of Zuko. If you don't know who Zuko Wilcox Ahern is, then you need to inform yourself immediately. But he's one of the I would say geniuses behind ZCash, and I watched a really good video with him being interviewed on Real Vision yesterday. I think it was actually aired quite some months ago. And I'm just disheartened to see it that on Real Vision that there had only been 3,000 views of this video, and everyone should watch it because the man just seems like a very nice man. He seems like he certainly is an absolute authority on privacy, the concept of privacy in terms of online privacy, the history of privacy, and we all need to. It will behove all of us to inform ourselves on this topic. In the world we live in today, I don't know if there's anything quite so important as privacy, and particularly online privacy, and particularly to do with your finances in a digitizing financial system such as we are currently moving towards. So yeah, in fact, I put a playlist together with quite a few of Zuko's videos, because if you are interested in Zcash, if you're interested in Bitcoin, it's probably the number one thing you should do. So go and have a look. Please do go and have a look at those videos. And yeah, all I can tell you is, having seen those videos, all I can tell you is, if I get an opportunity to buy Zcash at $60 or $70, then oh my God, I will be well, I can't tell you how excited I would be. It would be a boon. It's already a boon at 100, and really it's a boon at under 1,000, and I think long term it's a boon at under 20,000. So watch the videos, learn about Zcash, see the people, learn about the people who are actually behind it, because I think that is also pretty impressive and pretty what's the word? Well, it bolsters the confidence in the overall project to know that it's decent people behind it. Well, I think it does anyhow, and not, as well as the fact that you might believe in the you might share the same kind of ideology, or the same kind of belief system that is being espoused by those in charge of the project. So anyhow, but it seems to me like decent person, decent principles, and super decent technology. So what's not to like? And if the price is dropping, then what's especially not to like about a cheap asset that's being developed by nice people with good principles and a good plan and an excellent technology? Wow, buy it up, it's Christmas, happy days. So yeah, so that could be what's happening. We could be on a weekly closure. We could be looking at some point at $60. I would say that kind of is the one thing that is at the moment making me think that we may see lower Bitcoin prices as well. But as I say, on the Bitcoin chart, we're not seeing that at all. On the Bitcoin chart, it looks much more like 2-day holding around. Oh wait, am I on there? Sorry, that's the Zcash. On the Bitcoin chart, we're pretty much all of the time frames, we're seeing a sort of a target of 30,000 at the lower range, I think, and that includes going up to the weekly. I think it even goes up to the 2 weekly, does it not? Maybe not the 2 weekly. The 2 weekly is the one that's where it starts to get. Yeah. Okay, so the 2 weekly in Bitcoin, there is reason to be cautious, but I think on balance, I'm still fairly confident that Bitcoin will hold at 30,000. This is a good trading range. It's very well established at this point, and on the weekly chart, there's nothing really to show us that we're going. Well, I mean, the MACD is certainly telling us we're going to be heading south. And so, but you know, a lot can happen in a week, and we have got, I think, right, we only have a day to the closure of this candle. So yeah, I mean, I suppose it depends. I think it all kind of does. It's fairly key. Maybe look, the problem is if we do close tomorrow below 30,000 on this weekly closure, then that is going to take us lower, and because we will have broken the low end of this Bollinger Band on the weekly. We have the MACD pointing thoroughly down on the weekly, and we have just seen on the 2 weekly that at that point, you know, on the 2 weekly we will start to we'll cement our position below this MACD. Well, we won't actually. We'll still have 8 days, but we will be heading in the wrong direction at that point. So okay, so I think really this is fairly key. I'm glad I made this video. I think maybe be cautious. Be cautious buying at 87 on the ZCash. If it does dip that low, be cautious. Use a stop loss, and you know, be sensible. Don't use leverage on whether you're trading Bitcoin or Zcash, because that is the way to ruin your own life. And we'll look at this one on let's look at the 5 hour as well. Yeah, I think, look, with Bitcoin as well. We're not on Bitcoin yet, bloody hell. Okay, here we go. So I think play for the test, play for the bounce, and that's the other thing I meant to mention. But even if we do bounce strongly here and seem to have yet again leapt from the jaws of death and held the line at this 30,000 support level, I think the next issue is that, in fact, we will again be running into this downward trending resistance that has been key throughout the downtrend that began on May 19th, and that was acting as support for, well, months beforehand. So it really is, and it is very, very important trend line there. And I think that if we have a little look on the 1 day, I can show you something else that I think makes it even more interesting, is that we have this other line. So this is the trend line I was talking about here, which was acting as support, well, resistance here on 21st of February, supported the price here at 26th of March, again 25th of April supported us after this huge, fairly decent dump. And it's also the support which gave way, finally, we could say the preliminary support, the support that once it gave way, this led to the selling climax that has left us in this trade and helped to define this trading range between sort of 40,000 and 30,000 that we've been trading in between and accumulating between for the last month or so. So this very important support line is assuming we bounce from the 30,000, let's say tonight or tomorrow, if we haven't already had the test. But I think we probably are going further lower towards 30,000, as I've discussed. So assuming we do bounce there, there is this other trend line which it's not so key, but I just thought it was a bit interesting. That runs from the point on the 10th of May through here, the 31st of May, where we were rejected after having initially broken through this other trend, this other resistance. We were rejected here by this same trend line which sent us over the cliff on the 19th of May, and we did almost tip up towards it yesterday or today, But the point is, it will dissect this long-term downtrending resistance. It will dissect it on probably in the next 3 or 4 days, by the looks of things. It looks like this is where the price will be headed, and it looks like it's likely to need to get through these two trend lines, which are going to coincide. Now, bearing in mind this one has been holding us in place ever since the 19th of May, and bearing in mind that this one has been this has been holding us in place ever since, well, the 19th, and this one is what sent us over the edge on the 10th, and has also sent us back down again on the 15th. I would say that the combined force of the weight of these two trends is not to be sneezed at. So the test here is only the first test. The next thing we need to look at is getting through here. So let's see. I think it will probably, again, I think we maybe won't get there on the first try. It might reject us, and we'll have another little try down to 32,000, after which I think we might see some higher prices. But that is kind of how I can see this playing out. And the only thing that worries me is having seen those little was it the 2 day? Was it the 1 week? Yeah. So having seen this, that we're going to close in a day and nearly 2 days on this weekly closure is coming up, and I think if we were to close below 30,000, that would be particularly bearish. The weekly closure, that there is the concern as well that this very obstacle that I've just been discussing of these two trend lines, this could be the very thing that sends us down in a day or two's time, just in time for us to close beneath 30,000. That's if we don't head south directly in the next hour or two, or 6 or 10. So I think those are some fairly worrying, fairly worrying. If you're trading with leverage, extremely worrying. If you're already long with leverage, extremely worrying. If you are planning on using leverage, don't. And if you are going to buy this as a buying opportunity, as a dip, as a low, then certainly I think you want to be using some form of stop loss to protect yourself, because there are a couple of things that are pointing to potential turbo downside, and it will be unpleasant. And we saw on the 2 weekly that, I don't think it would go to 5,000, the Bitcoin price, really at all. I have no reason to believe that. Well, I do. I have the 2 weekly Bollinger bands. That's the reason to believe it. But I'm going to choose to not believe that, because I think on balance, that's the only thing that is pointing me that way. I know that's not the only thing. There is something else which we need to look at, which is the two. Let's see. Let's not look at that on the 2 weekly though. So